Yay! What it do, folk? I'm live. I am live. I missed y'all last Sunday. Y'all did a damn thing with the Supreme Court. I am Mundell Robinson, and I would not be clickbaiting y'all without my brothers. Ben, Marcus, what's up?
What's going on, gentlemen? It's always a pleasure to be here with y'all.
Hey, what's up, Mondell, man? My voice is a little cracking. Everybody, Squirrel Gang, Trap Squad. So y'all got to deal with me. Bear with me for this episode, but it's probably for the best because I talk too much anyway.
Nah, Mark,
nah, not at all.
Mark is trying to be, we see what you're trying to do. You're trying to do your light-skinned boy thing. Sound like, what's that actor? Turns out, nah, man, I was in Chicago all week working.
I was just working all week, man.
Listen, y'all, we're with you for another hour. It's Sunday. You know it. You know what to do. If you are not subscribed already, it is your time right now. Subscribe and also share. Let people know that Clickbaity Sundays is a thing. We're back 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday, and we're here to bring you some news real quick. It's an hour. It's no nonsense, and you know who it is. It's the boys. So Squirrel Gang, start your chatting, start your noting. Guess what? We're gonna start off with some racist-ish, because what else would be American if we weren't talking about white supremacy? Our girl Jill Scott, did y'all see it this week? Our girl Jill Scott started out doing her thing at Essence, and she took her talents to Blackville. That's right. She changed the national anthem in a way that was so beautiful, so glorious, that it made every white person on Twitter scream so loud. Their souls were on fire. Go ahead, man, say something.
No, I'm laughing because they really lost their minds over this. I'm getting the video right now, but dude, you would have thought she slapped white people's grandparents in the mouth right in front of them the way they acted over the way this song was, man.
Yeah, listen, white people were changing it. They this multi-millionaire black elitist leftists, and I'm like, but y'all the same people fundraising for Donald Trump, and his people actually attacked the Capitol, not just the physical building, but the idea of what democracy means was unattacked on January 6th. And y'all ain't once said he need to get out or leave America. Y'all stood behind that flag. So this idea that they love this song so much, but it's also ahistorical, right? To them, this song means nothing. But that's right. You know for a fact, brother, there's a long history of black people protesting the national anthem. Because the song, go ahead.
I was gonna say the most recent, obviously, is all of us who protested in with Colin Kaepernick, right? And the idea that it's un-American to protest the Star Spangled Banner in any form or fashion, right? That's the lie that they try to keep us all locked into.
Right. Marcus, did you want to jump in, or are you still working at it? Okay, he's still working. So you muted, brother. You muted, brother.
Yeah, no, I'm still working. Ben, did you send me that link? Did you send me
give me about 2 seconds and I'm gonna get it to you.
All right, but I do have something about Essence Festival. Janelle Monáe.
Oh goodness. Is that all you're gonna say is Janelle Monáe?
What else happened? Did something else happen at this? Something else happening at this?
I can't take Marcus. And he probably wasn't in Chicago working. He probably was at Essence Fest trying to find Janelle Monáe. That's what
I was at Auntie Fest. No, I didn't go. I mean, when it comes down to the Star Spangled Banner, right? Like the veteran in me, and also like, see, here's the funny part about it. You can hate the history of this country and still love this country, right? And I'm tired of the super hate everything America folks, because that's not me. I just understand and recognize America's past and what it has happened in it, right? But it's on us to either make this place a better place or Marcus Garvage's thing and go ahead and take off, right? It's either one or the other, right? You can't consistently stay into a place of hatred, but you can hate the history in order to change the future, right? And there's folks on Twitter, there's folks in all kinds of spheres who are like, you know, well, you were a veteran. Oh, well, when I mentioned I was a veteran, oh, well, you worked for the imperialistic. Yes, I did. And also didn't have nothing else going for me. And that was my one opportunity to get away from my hometown and actually go and see different things. And if I didn't do that, you wouldn't see me right now, right?
That's right.
I could be dead, right? So like, here's my thing. When you protest, it doesn't necessarily mean you hate every single aspect of it, but you are bringing to the table what your viewpoint is and the atrocities that have affected us, right? So some black folks negate ourselves, and a lot of white folks do the same when we actually protest. I'm gonna have you listen to the third verse of the third verse of this same song that we're talking about. Have you? Because if you have, you'll read one of the most racist lyrics ever written down in American history that has been certified platinum by the American government, right? And that doesn't mean that I have to hate every single aspect of America, because guess what? My mama was born in America. My daddy just died in March, and he was a proud veteran, right? So what you expect me to say to these folks, right? When you know, I'm not gonna sit up here and go to my dad's military funeral like I did, and I got his flag hanging up on my wall right around the corner. And he passed away this year, like since we've done our last Clickbaities, right? He passed away, and he was a proud veteran, right? He was proud of the things that he did, right? And he was proud of his friends, and he was proud of his service. And to be quite honest with you, I could give a goddamn if somebody has a problem with somebody being proud of America, right? But I also have a problem with people having a problem of recognizing the raw truth that America has fucked black people over. And I'm not even going, oops, that one. I meant that one for a purpose. America has done that, right? And it's up to us to actually either bring up the atrocities so we can actually try to change them. I mean, when Martin Luther King did this whole "I have a dream" speech in DC, does that necessarily mean that the fight was over, right? Is that the only way that we can protest? By having gender and racial neutral conversations about how America has done us? No, it doesn't stop there, right? We have to keep fighting on, right? So if what Jay-Z said, if Genesis 6 don't exist, tell him that's when I stop saying bitch.
That's a hard truth for a lot of people to deal with. Listen, that's right. We got to be honest though. I mean, people don't know the history of the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, like you said, this is a song that people sing and automatically. This is how I know America is based on groupthink and whitethink. First of all, the song was not even the national anthem until the 20th century, right? So we talk about a country that's been around since supposedly 1600s, but separated from Britain. In the War of 1812 is actually when the song was written by Francis Scott Key, who was actually a slave owner, right? And the lyric that you was talking about was, he was saying nothing can save the hireling or slave from the grave. This is the third verse that you're talking about, Marcus, that never sung. People really don't sing anything but that first verse, and they get all up in ante. Their pants get wet when they sing this song, right? They get a chubby about this song. And this song actually is celebrating us being slaves, written by a slave owner. And it wasn't the national anthem until Congress passed it in 1940. It was America Beauty people used to sing, and then other song, Hail Columbia. That was the song that was the unofficial national anthem for a long time. And people don't even talk about it because, like you said, they're too busy trying to erase the history of America. They're upset. This is why white people on Facebook is calling Jill Scott racist. How is she racist for reminding you all that this is not the land of the free? It is the land of the slave. Like, right? The grass is green and nourished by the blood of black and other marginalized people in this country, not from slavery, but the continuation of that. The continuation of what happens to us. Slavery was a horrible institution, fact. But so is Jim Crow. So is the fact that black people, black men specifically of a certain age, leading cause of death is an American institution. It's police. That is deadly. That is American. That is uniquely American. The fact that black men in this country, supposedly the greatest country on nation, still have the shortest lives of black men everywhere in this so-called rich nation. That is a reason to take a knee or sit your down when that song plays.
That's right. That's right. You know what? The historical aspect, I appreciate both of y'all digging into that and Marcus, check that link I just dropped you. But the other part is when I think about Jill Scott performing this song with the kind of fire and passion that she did, her rendition, it also just reminds me of how far we haven't come and so many of the current things, right, that are happening, that it's making sure that Black people know what this system still thinks about us. And so a lot of folks be like, you know, while they want us to forget what happened in the past, you know, and it wasn't that long ago, right? We're talking about, you know, 3-4 generations removed from slavery at the most for most of us, right? But there's also this present. We got this entire war on Blackness in the form of the war on woke, right? We've got the Supreme Court decisions that we just covered last week. We got them giving us, you know, they're sticking the middle finger up to Black people in this country on a regular basis. So why should they expect us not to engage in the most American activity of all, which is protest? And Jill Scott protested with a song versus going to the Capitol trying to burn it down.
Man, if it may be pointed out, and first off, Trap Squad, Squirrel Gang, and my counterparts here on Clickbaity, I apologize. My technical stuff is not working, so there won't be any videos today right now. I do apologize to both you gentlemen and general public, but I do suggest you go and Google this Janelle Monáe and Google everything that we're talking about so you can watch some videos on it in general just to get your life right. I want to just bring up one more thing. Mondale Ben, not only is it the most American thing, a Black person started the first thing. Crispus Attucks was the first sign of revolution. So we've been protesting since the first war.
That's
right?
That's right.
Since the first war. There wasn't a white person who protested anything before Crispus Attucks said, nah, we out. We ain't doing this. And he got shot in the head. Right? First person to die. So if we want to look at the reality of what America is founded on Black protests. How about that?
Yeah, that's real. That's a real, listen, that's real context. And you know what? I'm okay with not having a video. Honestly, you know what? Because as much as I know videos create clicks and we are clickbaiting, but sometimes we gotta teach folk, right? And I think this is a wonderful moment for us to realize that so much of the ish we're fed right now, dog, has people up in arms about stuff they don't know nothing about.
Come on.
America's patriotism is Donald Trump made these white people burn their patriotism. And what we found out that the Southern strategy that was created in 1972 has become full grown with Donald Trump and these white people. This idea that you could create and grow the Republican Party by appealing to white racism and their hate for Black people that Richard Nixon used to win the White House, Donald Trump has used to actually arm Americans against America. We've seen them go to war with cops for Donald Trump. We've seen them go to war with the FBI for Donald Trump. We've seen them tear down the government. They want to get rid of the Department of Justice, IRS, anything or anybody that does anything against Trump. And Trump is a person, a character of what they really feel. Trump represents white supremacy to them. And that's it. And that's what we got to talk about, because it's not just harmful to white people to believe the dumbness that they do when they support Trump and the current Republican Party. It harms us all because it'll make them Democrats lazy, and what Black people need to be full will get pushed to the back burner faster than ever. And if you don't believe me, let's look at last week's Clickbaity when the brothers talked about all the harm that the Supreme Court did in one damn week.
That's right.
But that ain't it, though. Look at what's happening in our second story, right, Ben? This idea that Oklahoma.
Wait. Benjamin is a goddamn genius, boy. Hey.
You see what I'm doing over here?
Yeah.
I missed out.
Rev is on point.
You can say it.
Say it. Come on, man.
Okay, wait, hang on. We don't want that one yet. We want.
All right, hold on. Which one?
We're gonna come back to that last one. Hang on. Let's do this. I want to remove one. Y'all count to 5 because I was sitting here figuring out. I know I could upload some videos from this side. I just felt it in my shana.
Okay, look at
in my shanana. And here you go. We want this one. This is Jill Scott right here. Go ahead and pick that Jill Scott. If you can see.
Can you see by the blood in the street?
Okay.
That this place doesn't smile on you, colored child, whose blood built this land
She's singing to my soul.
with sweat and their hands. But you'll die in this place, and your memory reigns. Oh, say, does this truth hold any weight? This is not the land of the free, but the home of the slave.
Cry harder, racist. Cry harder.
Can we use that for our intro?
Come on.
We might as well. No, I can I jump in just real quick because I know you guys. I saw y'all emotions. Again, the veteran in me is not like, oh my God, that's just such a. No, it's the truth. It's the truth. And if we're not forced to sing all three verses of the original Star Spangled Banner, then we are allowed to sing that version of the Star Spangled Banner.
That's right.
Right? Because you're not going to critical race theory. See, y'all like y'all can't critical race theory a song that has been sung for hundreds of years in this country every time any event happens, and think that that version that's at the end of the third verse literally doesn't exist, because if that doesn't exist, then this does.
That's right.
If that exists, then this does. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is like this right here: kill it, Jill. Kill it.
That's right.
That's why she's one of my favorite artists in general. For Sister Jill is one of my favorite artists in general for years.
Marcus, real quick, man, to what you're saying, bro. Like my in-laws, my wife's family, the entire family is military, retired military, and sometimes, okay, for example, during the protest for George Floyd, my protest was going to be to march up the steps of the Capitol burning a flag. My wife pulled me to the side, said, "Nah, I'm not going to go with you on this one because of what it means to all, like just so many members of her family." So this isn't a slap in the face to all of the Black people who have had to commit their lives to the empire for survival. Like you described, what you described, Marcus, is so true. So many Black people have to serve for their survival and for their progress. This is just another part of the same Black folks who serve, just like you. They feel this same thing, this animus, this thing that's in the back of Jill Scott's voice as she sings the way she's saying, man. And so I think people would love to be able to separate us from our Blackness or our service or our military service or whatever it may be. You can't separate it. You can't separate it. And so respect to all of y'all who have done what you've had to do, and those of you who still stand and say like, nah, this is what we're feeling too. What Jill Scott said is what we're feeling.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note that, like, if you look at, and I actually, don't look at the comments on Twitter because racism is ridiculous and it's stupid. But I'm listening to the words again as we played that video. Like, how you gonna argue? Her song sounded just like "What's Up, Little Hack." Her song sounded just like an ode, right? To all of the reports I've read. Pew writes studies that say that if you're a colored child, you're gonna die younger than your white counterparts. You're gonna get a lesser education. You're gonna get a lesser. You get treated worse at the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Your mom is more likely to die giving birth to you. So how is she lying when she's saying the same thing these reports say with rhythm, right? In pain. Plus, people got to remember the songs that those black folk were singing on Plantation were not, these people weren't singing for joy. They were singing, plotting how to escape. Those songs were, methods on what we could do to get away from this. So this idea that black folk were living in harmony in antebellum on the plantation is a narrative that was created by the daughters of the Confederates when they rearranged what books could be in Southern schools for 3 and 4 generations, right? Immediately after their fathers and sons started to die after the war, the Confederate loss, right? We're talking about the Civil War. When they lost, when our white cousins started to die, then these daughters of Confederates, they didn't just put up statues, they changed books the same way that books are being changed and banned right now on what can be taught in school, right? A poem that was recited by this black young lady at Biden's inauguration has been banned in Florida because one woman, child, was offended by it. Come on, dog. This is where we are. This is where we are. Black history is being erased, just like Jill said in that song.
That's right.
You will be erased. And they would tell a story that you were happy and jigabooing all around during slavery. This is not about veterans. If they cared about veterans, Marcus, if they cared about veterans and our service, then why the hell they ain't up in arms that black veterans couldn't use the GI Bill after World War II? We in France, we in Europe fighting for white folk freedom, came home and couldn't even get a hit.
Twice.
Yeah,
Came home and couldn't get it. Three times. Shout out to Brother Jason Johnson, one of our former Clickbaity members, for doing some amazing work in a story that's coming out very soon that you guys will see about exactly that. Let's talk about Henry Johnson, right? Henry Johnson, they nicknamed him Black Death. Henry Johnson, Black Death, literally fought off and killed almost 25, 30 foreigners that were attacking his base. Literally didn't get awarded the Medal of Honor until after he died, right? Like, don't think that we don't recognize, even as people who, and let me do something else, because I think I messed this one up. Just because I'm a veteran, and just because you were a veteran, doesn't mean you have ownership over the flag. And you don't have ownership, and you have ownership over America. I don't have any more ownership over America than a garbage man, right?
Well,
I don't have, but I don't have any more ownership of a flag or America than a supermodel or a person who cleans up elephant doodle at the zoo. I have no more ownership of America than anyone else. The only reason that I use these connotations is because whiteness of America and toxic whiteness of America has decided that these are the things that represent what the flag means. So I counteract that with my real own life experience, right? But it doesn't make me any more ownership of America or the flag than any of you watching this right here. And the person who grows weed illegally in their basement owns America. You know why? Because America is all of us, believe it or not, even the ones who hate it.
That's right.
Even the ones who hate it. Doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be proud in this country, right? It doesn't mean that you don't have ownership in this country. You go to the corner store and you go buy a pack of bubble gum and they give you a 2-cent tax on it. You are American as anybody else. You're doing your due diligence just like anybody else. You're serving your country just like anybody else. So I want to make this clear. Just because I was in the military, just because anybody else was in the service, just because anybody else got elected to office or did anything like that, right? It doesn't make them more American than you.
Facts.
And you are American. until you renounce your citizenship, which I know a lot of black and brown folks do that, right? Y'all can renounce your citizenship. And that's cool. I ain't hating on y'all. But guess what? Until you do that right there, you are just as American as every single person else. So don't let these Colin Kaepernick disrespect the flag. And then you decide to go take the same flag, put a yellow and black snake on it, and think that that's not disrespecting the flag. And you ain't got nothing else to say about it. You tell me that you take that same flag and stab at Capitol officers on January 6th, talking about you trying to save America, and you ain't disrespecting the flag then?
Come on.
What are we saying here? What are we really saying here? Man, I'm losing my voice more, man. My bad, folks.
Nah, bro. Nah. I appreciate that. You said a word. I don't think nothing else to be said about that. That's period.
Period. We put a period on that. We call that a clickbait end. That's a clickbait end right there, boy. I don't need the mansplain it.
What are you doing? No. All right, the next story. Listen, man, this is another. Listen, if Jill Scott didn't have any other reason to sing this anthem the way she did, it's the fact that over this past week, Oklahoma judges have denied reparations to the 100-year-old survivor of the Tulsa race massacre. And it is, we have a video clip, so we could play that clip. But for anyone who understands one of the number one fallacious, fake, ridiculous arguments against reparations is that there's nobody alive today who suffered under the slavery. But here we have a living survivor of one of the most horrific massacres of Black people in this country's history. And the judges said, no, we're good. It's the clip with Cape Hart on front.
Okay.
In the investigation into former.
No,
The next.
Is that it?
The next one more.
Oh, this one, the one with Nina on the front?
With Jonathan Cape Hart.
Oklahoma judge Friday dismissed a reparations lawsuit filed by the last 3 known survivors of the Tulsa race massacre. The survivors have been locked in a legal battle against the city of Tulsa, as well as other groups and officials, over the 1921 riot. A white mob killed up to 300 Black Americans and devastated the city's Greenwood neighborhood. The dismissal of the lawsuit comes as some are trying to downplay the racial component to one of the most horrific displays of white supremacist violence in American history. Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters was recently asked how teaching about the Tulsa massacre didn't violate his strict ban on critical race theory. His response, you sitting down, quote, "Let's not tie it to the skin color."
All right.
Meanwhile, in California,
you can stop it right there.
Yeah. That's I got nothing. I mean, and they want us to be sad because Jill Scott felt that way. You know, they want us to take these school board superintendents who have been recruited by Moms for Liberty and take them seriously when they don't want to teach the Tulsa race massacre, for which how many Black people died for the sake of their skin color. And then here's a kicker. I know y'all know this, but I got to say this for the audience. Do you know that there are still companies who derive wealth from the properties that they stole during the Tulsa race massacre? So they're literally people who are living today in the abundance that their barbarism gave them. And the judge said no reparations. And the school board superintendent in Tulsa said, no, we don't want to teach that it was about their skin color. See, they better be glad Jill Scott is singing, and that's all she's doing.
Man, first, look, what tends to happen with these conservatives from the 1980s to 2000 present, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. There is no example of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps more evident than Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, right? Black Wall Street is the ultimate pull yourself up by your bootstraps. See, here's the problem. They don't understand why we're fighting against narratives like that. They don't understand that why we're fighting against narratives like that. And we must understand why they are trying to pull this critical race theory stuff so hard, because this is an evident truth. that shall be witnessed and has been witnessed by the annals of history. If it makes it to HBO, it happened, folks, right? But they have to change the narrative, because they can't allow race to be a narrative of it, because even back then, the reason why it happened in the first place is because this was a thriving Black economic center for the region, if not America.
Come on.
So y'all burn down the more wealthy Black side of town. And hey, folks, I'm gonna tell y'all something. You ever wonder why you never seen a wealthy Black side of town? You ever wonder when you're driving down the street and you go to a certain neighborhood, you might see a wealthy Cuban side of town. You might see a wealthy Jewish side of town. You might see a wealthy AAPI side of town. There are places that exist like that. But have you really, outside of Atlanta, maybe Houston, maybe Charlotte, have you seen a wealthy side of town? No, you haven't. And the reason why is because they burned them down.
That's right.
The reason why is because they took them away from us. And this is not just the government, but you got to understand that they didn't get them planes that bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma. I repeat, planes flown by white people with white
1921.
by a white person. In
1921, bro.
They dropped bombs with planes on a Black side of town, and then they say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And then when we do, you bomb us out, and then years later, you don't want to tie the conversation to race. That means that you're literally going against what your own ancestors meant to happen.
That's right.
Wait a minute now, let me repeat that part.
That's right.
Hey, white man, you were literally going against what your ancestor wanted to happen when he bombed that city. You're going against your elder white folks in the state of Oklahoma. You're going against their wishes by saying we can't tie race to it. Because they damn sure didn't say that. They said, let me get this N-word out of here and take their land and their resources. That's exactly what they said. Miss me with all the cap.
Yeah, listen, not to be a nerd, but to be a nerd. Listen, Tulsa, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. If you don't know about the race riots in Winston-Salem, Durham, if you don't know what happened, not just in those places, Black Bottom in Detroit, the government this was a so-called white mob with a plane. I don't know where they got a plane from, but they dropped bombs. But this wasn't the only time that Black neighborhoods, Black wealth was destroyed. Right? This is the history of America. And I think, this idea of, this is why I refuse to call it Black Wall Street, because Tulsa was nothing like Wall Street, right? Somebody's talking about Gastonia, exactly. Wall Street was the first slave market in New York, right? That's where the first slave market was. Wall Street today exists as a mirror of exploitation and what white people can do and how they can exploit the system. Tulsa was the exact opposite of that. You had hardworking Black people busting their, to make sure that their families had something, even when the world was trying to come at them. Tulsa was a exact reason why white supremacy wasn't real. That's why they had to destroy Tulsa. That's why they had to destroy Black Bottom. And then why people will say, well, that wasn't the government, so the government don't owe you anything. But then explain why, when they ran the highway system through this country, they cut off exits to Black neighborhoods where Black businesses were thriving, so people could no longer get to them. Explain why they use eminent domain to run them highways straight through the middle of Black neighborhoods and divide them.
That right there.
Explain how this only happened to Black communities. It's by design that you don't see wealthy Black people. PG County, the richest Black zip code, richest Black county in the country, right outside of DC, hit the hardest by the housing crisis in 2017. Why? 2000, right? Because it was by design. Wells Fargo, if you see what happened with Wells Fargo and countywide, I'm just telling people what systemic racism does and why white people got bootstraps and Black people just got straps that hang from trees. I'm just telling you, ain't none of this by mistake. America being patriotic in America. I'm sorry to go back to it, but being patriotic in America means I gotta criticize this. It means I can't feel happy about it. Go ahead, Marcus.
I got to say this, man. Zora Neale Hurston, the sister that used to live in Eatonville, Florida. Let me tell you something. A real brief story about Eatonville down there, close to Orlando, and also the areas of OBT right there in Orlando, right? When the American government came and brought what is it? It's I-4, and it's I-4, I believe that they did it on, but I also think it wasn't 75, it was I-4. They brought I-4 from Tampa to Daytona. And I want y'all to understand something. It was cheaper for them to go on the outskirts of, because it was cheaper for them to go to the outskirts of Orlando to build that same highway and make dividers that connected to the roads that way. They had to spend more money to make sure that they went through black neighborhoods. I just want to point that out. They had to spend more money. They took the highway that was headed one direction, cut it up, brought it over, brought it back.
That's, I mean, the kind of evil you gotta be to spend more money in order to execute your evil. That's white supremacy, bro.
That's white supremacy. And I try to tell people all the time, we see it, the and what Marcus just said, Ben, is powerful because it shows you the level at which America is willing to go to destroy blackness. This long suffering that we exist in, the pain, the tolerance. America's tolerance of black pain is so high that they'll spend billions of more dollars to ensure that we suffer. And folk need to know that. Some real stuff. Somebody said somebody did a movie on it. I mean, listen. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got it.
No, I mean, listen. I think when people don't understand all of the lies that you guys have, that why black folk don't deserve reparations, keep getting crumbled. These people were alive. They experienced Tulsa. They experienced the race massacre that was Tulsa, Oklahoma. Nope, they still don't deserve it. They still don't deserve it. And they can't say there's no precedence of paying people for something, because we just saw California say, oh, my God, we did steal this beach from the black people. This was a black affluent beach, and they just gave it back to these people. They took this beach back, and gave it back to this family. Let's stop playing games. If we're getting serious about what it means, we will be moving as fast as California's moving about reparations for black folk. The rest of this country is dragging its feet because it's still ran by the same ideas. White people mean more than black people. And if you don't believe me, how then can you explain those 13 red states in the middle of this country with lesser population than damn one city on the East Coast get to determine and choose 26 senators, 26 senators from those 13 least populated states. 13 states got 26 senators, and California got more population than all those states combined, and they got 2 senators.
Hey, my dad, we can change that, right, brother? All we gotta do is get all the black folks to move to one of them states and then start producing anything. I promise you that process will change.
Yeah. Bro, we pull up with one generation of black folks, they're gonna change the electoral college full stop, but they're gonna change everything about our system. Shoot.
Hey, bro, that's a method. Every cycle, look, every 2 years, black people move to which state got elected.
Right.
Just move, whoever elected their senators, we're going over there, we're gonna move over there, we're gonna get some progressive senators in Idaho.
And then move to the next state.
Bro, and then we're going to the next state. We're going to the next state. Because
and also pass statewide reparations.
Come on.
While we're there.
While we're here,
you know what? How much money? How many slaves y'all had? Y'all had one slave? Y'all had one? All right, reparations for all the black people.
Bro, if we take all the black people who are displaced, unhoused, or just living below their means, and we get them in a caravan and go state by state by state, we're gonna live here for 2 years. They will declare war. Somebody in the chat room said they'll drop a bomb on every state we go to.
They absolutely would.
They absolutely would.
They absolutely would. And it ain't gonna take many to go to Montana and change what it looked like. It ain't gonna take many to go to North Dakota and change what it look like. It ain't gonna take many to go to Alaska, which got less people than Charlotte, North Carolina, the largest state in the country, but got less people than Charlotte. So we can take the black folk from Charlotte. We need you over here to vote this 2 years.
I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I can make it 2 years in Alaska, bro. That's
I'm gonna be down. I'm still be in North Carolina calling y'all about it. How the weather up there.
I'll do like the Dakotas. I'll go as far as the Dakotas, but the Alaska.
Alaska give you money to move up there anyway. But I promise you, a lot of black folks start moving there. That's over with too.
And go.
Hey, Alaska give you money to move up there, and also when you're a citizen, you get money back from the oil, right? They get those people get money back from the oil. So you know, might be onto something, guys. The clickbait caravan. We going state to state. 2 years,
bro. hey, listen, we're gonna have a hell of a security detail going with us every 2 years, bro. Because you know we're gonna have
dead. Man, we'll be dead. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Because I'm telling you, in 10 years, you can literally change the face of the Senate, and we can go in and erase the filibuster, right? Change this idea of what the Constitution means and add amendments to protect. People don't even realize, bro, it's 2023. And people don't even understand voting rights ain't permanent, right? They got to reauthorize voting rights for us every so many years.
That's crazy.
Think about that.
That's crazy.
It ain't permanent, dog. It has to be reauthorized. Now, in this climate with these crazy Republicans, I can literally see them saying, nah, we ain't reauthorizing that. And then we got a Supreme Court to say, well, who cares if they don't?
You know what? It sounds extreme. It sounds radical. It sounds almost crazy, but it's sounding better and better to me the more y'all talk. Right? If we look at how extreme the right is engaging in politics, then what we just kind of we're playing around with, it's not an extreme response, right? It is the accurate response to the type of Machiavellian techniques that conservatives have been using for 50 years. And it would be black people. And somebody said, if we get the homeless populations, you're right. So it'll be a very diverse caravan, but led by black folks and then everybody else. If we did stuff like that, it is to me a 1-for-1 return based on what these Republicans and conservatives have done strategically over 50 years to take away all of our rights. So y'all keep talking about it. You know, I get a notebook and some paper. We'll start strategizing this thing here.
Hey man, I want to add on one more thing before we move on to it. This goes back to my point of how Democrats on the left. I ain't saying nobody else on the left. I'm saying Democrats on the left. Typically, they create ideas for moderation, while the right creates ideas out of complete righty absurd right, right? And when you're competing against extreme against moderation is always going to lose, because there's always going to be some moderate who has one or two thoughts that are a little bit more extremist that are willing to go to that route once they see that nothing is being done. That's why leadership in the party and leadership in different parties and leadership on the left has to go, I hate to be like this, but we have to think a little more extreme. And they say we're extreme right now. They say we're extreme for giving their constituents money, right? When we talk about Medicare for all, they say we're extreme for giving their constituents health care. When we talk about, they call us extreme, right? They call us socialist, everything, because we want to help out some of their people also. Matter of fact, their people also, right? But that, and the Democratic Party is so scared of talking about that, they have no talking points to counteract that we end up having to have a moderate conversation, and we elect people who push the same thought process when the right, they're electing their psychopaths, and their psychopaths are winning.
That's right. That's the terrifying part. Like we are literally at the stage where the village idiots of the conservative movement, I mean, the bottom feeders, scum, right? You're looking at Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, you're talking Lauren Boebert, Donald Trump, all of them, Ron DeSantis, all this is putting licking finger behind, excuse me, kids. Like we are putting the very worst that this society has to offer in through the conservative movement. Meanwhile, we're still over here, Marcus, like you said, you couldn't have said it better. On the left, the Democratic left, you know, we're electing people who are still trying to play games. Like they still want to go to happy hour with these folks. They want to go after, they want to be friends afterwards with the Republicans when Republicans are trying to destroy everything about our way of life.
Yeah, I mean, like this is my problem with the word bipartisanship. I hate it. Like for me, if you're a Democrat talking about bipartisanship, you should get primary, just like in Republicans. Republicans don't talk about being primary or bipartisan.
Facts.
You keep saying it like it's something, like it's a badge of honor. You are doing work with racists. Every time you say bipartisanship, you're telling me you're willing to sacrifice a need that I need. And Republicans don't use that word, only Democrats. Joe Biden talks about bipartisanship. For me, bipartisanship would have kept me in slavery. Bipartisanship got us that 3/5 amendment, that compromise. 3/5. That's where it came from, compromise. Bipartisanship has never been anything progressive. It didn't give us the right to vote. It didn't add amendments. It was always the extreme that added stuff. It was the extreme idea to say black people shouldn't be enslaved. It was not a bipartisan modest that passed that. It was a radical that did that. A group of radicals. So this idea that being bipartisan is more important than legislating for the people that put you in power is why Democrats lose. It's why our side, it's why our base isn't riled up like the white folk are for the Republicans. Because they give them everything they ask for.
I can no longer call them my side because they don't think like me.
Facts.
I'm sorry. That's not. We're not even in the same fight. And this is coming from an operative. You know my resume more than anybody else in the game. I don't feel these cats anymore, right? Like they can't be on my side, and then get into a negotiation and say, well, you know what? If we work with the Republicans, let's allow them to say A instead of the hard ER.
Funny you should say that. Come on, man.
Compromise.
3/5 compromise.
That's the compromise that our side does right now. That's the kind of compromise that we do right now. So I think it's the best example. You know what? White people, y'all can say the A word. Just don't say that hard ER. F out of here. I'm trying, fellas. I'm trying.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
the algorithm appreciates you.
15 minutes. Yeah, we got 15 minutes left.
What's this last one with Donald Trump and his own security tapes? Who got this background on that story?
Listen, listen. Let's play the clip. Play
it
clip,
first,
and then let's do a cold open on this one because this is funny.
All right.
Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents at his Florida estate. Trump told people to move boxes to his residence at the property after advisors received a subpoena in May for any classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. That witness account was corroborated by security camera footage, which showed people moving the boxes.
Wait. I gotta see that one more time. I'm not certain if I heard that right. Hold on, wait.
With their
run it back. Hang on. I'll run it back.
A new twist in the investigation into former President Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents at his Florida estate. Trump told people to move boxes to his residence at the property after advisors received a subpoena in May for any classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. That witness account was corroborated by security camera footage, which showed people moving the boxes.
Bro. Like I said, they're not sending their best. They're sending the village idiots, guys.
I'm just gonna tuck my chain in from Debo. I'm just gonna tuck my chain in.
Slim, you can't even. If this is a movie, like, yo, this is too fake. Nobody would ever be that stupid.
Write this. Come on.
Come on, bro. Like, the FBI done raided your joint. You still got the security footage? You still got the footage of you telling people to hide the boxes that you said you don't have?
After the subpoena.
After the subpoena. After the subpoena.
But the problem is that
Man,
these facts are gonna come out, and Trump can shoot a man on Fifth Avenue and you can still get elected. Right?
That's right.
These facts are gonna come out, and the video is gonna come out, and all Trump has to say is, "That's not me."
It wasn't me. I can't believe when the movie Idiocracy came out, I really didn't realize it was a documentary of real life. Like we have evolved so quickly to the point of stupidity and absurdity that this guy, Donald Trump, is the hero. They made a golden image out of him, by the way. You know, conservatives, they love this man, this moron so much. They made a golden image out of him. And it's just the height of stupidity. White supremacy was never supreme, y'all.
Ben, you said a golden image out of Trump, right?
Yeah, bro.
And this is what happens in my heart. That's what I'm recording. Looking at the whole show, I'm like, Ben is trolling me right now. Footage. I'm like, this Ben got security footage over me. That's why I gotta look at it. He said a golden image. And look, that's exactly the truth, though. Trump, literally, not even Marcus, not even Fifth Ave. We literally, there's a person, one of his supporters at his rally this last week that said, I don't care. Trump's our guy. He said Trump could be in the White House and shoot somebody on TV, commit murder, and I'm still gonna support him. I mean, because I'm telling you, at that point, you can't tell me you care about law and order. You can't tell me you care about the dignity of life. You can't be pro-life. You just said you don't care if this man murders somebody for nothing. You still gonna support him. You can't tell me you care about Americans or you're patriotic because you just said this president can override our laws and shoot somebody and you still riding with him. So you just shot down all your reasons for supporting him. He don't put America first. We just said he could kill American and it don't matter. The Farmers for Trump, it was in Iowa because the Farmer for Trump ad, somebody took a picture of it, was made in one of the little sweatshops in Asia. And then they took a picture like America first and these Farmers for Trump hats. So what I'm telling people is, y'all ain't fooling us. We know you're racist. Just go out and say it. Right. Use the hard ER so I can have a reason to react. Because I know you won't. I mean, when you say MAGA to me, I hear nigger. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. That's what I hear, though. That's exactly what I hear.
That's what I hear when they say woke. When they say woke.
Exactly. Woke, thug, all of it. I know what you're saying. You ain't fooling me, dog. Because who wants somebody? How you telling me? The woke mob. Woke mob. The opposite is you want me to be the sleep mob? You're telling me not to pay attention to life. You're telling me to be sleep. Don't be woke, be sleep. Think about that. You want me to walk around dumb and believe whatever you're saying.
I mean, they got to.
They
got to walk around dumb when they are supporting somebody like Donald Trump. I mean, you literally have to turn off a portion of your brain, your cognitive capacity, to turn around and look at this moron and say, that's our guy.
Ben, Marcus, Donald Trump has raised $35 million since he's been indicted.
Wow.
$35 million. Guess what that means? And he's at these idiots so wound up. First of all, these people are super, most of his followers shouldn't be donating to someone who is rich as Trump because they can't afford to. But they don't care. They sacrificing their kid. You see the guy who's getting a divorce or something because he spent all his money, his child's college money.
Yes.
Child's college money on Trump. But listen, Trump is sending the money to a PAC. Guess what PACs can do? Pay Trump's legal fees.
Anything they want.
Anything they want. They can pay his legal fees, not the campaign. The money ain't going to campaign. He learned from that with his last lawyer. So now he's I need to be sending this money to the PAC. So this is the grift of grifting. Trump probably these people think Trump love him, and he already told them they don't.
Yeah, he did literally said that.
Guys, so listen. I had a friend of mine who I told watched the show last weekend, and I think she's watching the show right now. I'm not certain or not, but like she white woman, and she was like, I like the part that you said about white women. Sis, I'm not gonna say your name, but sis, excuse me again. I apologize to all the white women that are actually like have common sense. I have to apologize to you for what I'm about to say, but I gotta say it. Y'all are allowing y'all men to destroy y'all. And the ones that do it on their own, they are self-identifying idiots, right? That's let's just do that part first, because there hasn't been a single policy pressure point that has protected your family. Like I'll say, we're protecting your family. Nothing has protected your family, white ladies, right? And still, y'all let your husband go drink whatever that he drinks, that Ripple that he drinks, and then get lit, and then lay down with you at nighttime while he's still supporting Donald Trump, a man who literally said that he could grab you by the woo-ha whenever he wants to, right? Like,
with or without your permission.
With or without your permission, right? Has had multiple incidents of sexual assault, like throughout his not just throughout his presidency and stuff like that, but throughout his life.
30
right?
plus incidents, dog.
So here's what I'm going to say to you, white ladies of America. If you like, I don't know what they like. Like, if you like The View, if you like television as it stands right now, if you're a stay-at-home Midwestern wife, all that goes away. You're going to get state-ran television and your husband. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get state-ran television and your husband every day. That's the only thing that's going to happen for your life. Your whole life is going to be your husband, your kids, and the kids are going to, you can't do nothing about the kids because the internet ain't going to be around. He going to take away the internet also. And video games won't be around. You think for a second that all the shows that your kid watch with all those diverse characters in them are going to be around with the next Trump presidency? White women, this is on you. Y'all got to start taking some accountability, man.
I think they like that kind of stuff, though.
Hey, Ben, Marcus just said white women going to let their husbands get rid of Coco Melon.
Yeah.
Baby.
Why did you? Hey, bro, when you said Coco Melon, I heard that.
Baby Shark.
Yeah, bro. But here's the thing. Man. I think some of them are so committed to their whiteness that they don't mind getting, I don't know, stuck at home doing nothing but serving their men. Okay, they really would rather go and be barefoot and pregnant in their house with no career aspirations. Because what you said, Mark, is like you mentioned it in context of Trump, but there's literally an entire movement to take women back to that era when the only thing they could listen to was their husband and whatever the government told them. That's the entire movement that's happening right now. And unfortunately, there's a lot of white women who support it. So I think they like it.
No more Reese Witherspoon. No more Reese Witherspoon.
No more Starbucks. No, I'm joking.
No Kardashians.
No more Starbucks. No more Starbucks.
No Kardashians.
Oh, man.
They don't like this group don't like the Kardashians.
Yeah. Oh, they love the Kardashians. They love the Kardashians.
Why?
I'm thinking why they love the Kardashians, because Kardashians sleeping with black men and they in their mind want to do it, but they can't because they love white men. These are the same white women. These are the same white women that said they were raped by the black men on the plantation after they got pregnant. I'm the baby. I'm the pappy that there, baby.
I'm the pappy. I'm the pappy.
Marcus, hold the baby up beside you in bed. Who the pappy? Can't get right.
I'm the pappy.
That's a wonderful sketch. That can't get right part. If y'all don't know what we're talking about a scene from Life. Go watch it. It's an important part because the character can't get right. Was sleeping with it's a Mississippi prison farm, and the warden's daughter got pregnant by a black guy, and all the black men knew it was the brother who was mentally slow. His name was Can't Get Right.
Can't get right.
I got the baby. So all of that is important. If you look into the Martin and Eddie Murphy were geniuses. Can't Get Right, and white women killing their black lovers and their kids sometimes just to protect whiteness. Like I said. The extent of America's patience and comfortableness with black suffering is probably
life.
Y'all singing this song by Casey and JoJo, and one of our viewers was just talking about Gastonia. Those brothers are from Gastonia, North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Look at the show coming forward. Look at that.
Oh, I think that's a good way to end our show. I'm going to end it this time. But my name is Marcus. You can find me Marcus for America I am the CEO of Restorative Roots and Eagle Dispensaries of Illinois. You guys can follow me on Markets for America on anything. And your homework, if you haven't watched it, go watch Life.
Benjamin P. Dixon on any platform. That's where you can find me.
Mondale Robinson at Mondale Robinson on all platforms, and stay woke.
Yeah. Follow, share, follow, subscribe, share, follow, subscribe.
Because we're gonna be back next Sunday.
Next Sunday, y'all.
Next Sunday. That's what's up. All right, let me get us on out of here.